I think generally culture is living in very much a victim mentality,
Yeah.
identity politics spiral of like, there's always something to glom onto to um, defer accountability. And I think
Well, it's
that's
a lot
probably one of the
easier to be
biggest
a victim
problems.
now, isn't it?
Everyone's a victim of something.
Right.
And there's a reason for lacking success or lacking progress or lacking whatever it is that you want to put your finger on. You could come up with a reason.
Right.
And I think probably in my own life, accountability has been what I've been most proud of. Like whether it's accountability for my emotions, accountability for my reality that I live in every space. It's like, it's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I stopped looking to other people to help me make that happen, then it's like pretty freeing.
Where did you get that from?
Where did I get that from?
Yeah.
Um, Probably enough time pointing the finger, probably enough time. I'm pretty like good in the professional realm of things, but personal realm, when I stopped pointing the finger at other people and started just asking what's my part in this,
Mm-hmm.
then if you become liberated,
Isn't that
happier.
amazing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And most people don't live life that way.
No.
It's somebody else's fault that they're at where they're at.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I think a lot of society has conditioned themselves to believe and understand now. It's like, if that guy over there has money, then he's bad because money is the root of all evil. Or if that guy over there is in fit and healthy shape with six-pack abs at 50 years old, what's he trying to compensate for? Why does he think he needs to do that? Who is he trying to impress? Right. Sort of so there's all this pointing and sputtering at different people out there. And envy and jealousy it's a horrible emotion, and I see a lot of it out there. I obviously have an online presence. Like I'm getting 7 to 10 million views a month on the stuff that I'm doing, so I get hate, right? And I'm
And
always
some
yeah,
girls,
yeah. Well, we'll figure out if you're a hater, if you're a liker by the end of this
I'm
podcast.
fascinated.
Fascinated.
I'm
Okay.
fascinated. So
Yeah. So
it's much more on liking than hating because
got
I'm
it.
fascinated. I love the discussion.
Got it. Yeah. So I get hate and I get love, obviously, but I mean, like the haters are the ones that I'm always interested in because it's like, okay, well, if this person's criticizing me, then where is this coming from?
Sure.
Like, would I want to trade my life for your life? What do you do for a living? What have you accomplished? What do you look like? What are your views and opinions? And it's funny because, there's a digital footprint. So you can click through on people. You can click through on them on social media, on YouTube videos. You can see what they subscribe to, what they watch. You can see what their tweets are all about on Twitter. And it's pretty obvious to me that jealousy and envy, like all this hate, always comes from beneath you because nobody ever gets jealous of a loser. People only get envious and jealous of somebody that they want to be or to be like or to have things that they have, sort of thing. So I find this dynamic interesting today where it's like people spend a lot of time, effort, and resources trying to bring somebody else down. And it's like, wouldn't it be a lot easier just bring yourself up to their level?
Well, what does it take to do that?
It's
What does
work.
it take in your life? I'm guessing obviously you're in that space. So what is it that tips them over? Because I think some of the problem is it's not that people don't want to get better. It's not that people don't want the pathway forward. They don't actually know they need it.
Yeah, that's an interesting question because it's they don't need it, they don't know how to do it. Has it been like squeezed out of them? Like, is it something that's been engineered out of them through through their upbringing? One of the things that's changed culturally over the last couple of generations is we have more kids today raised in a single parent household than we ever have in the entirety of history. Most households in my dad's and grandparents' generation, obviously, were not single parent households. Most households today are single parent households, and they're mostly moms.
Sure. Well, they've probably progressively gotten smaller just in the community scope to further back would be like grandparents and uncles and aunts and
Yeah.
cousins. And like it's shrunk all the way down to one parent, essentially.
Yeah, and they're not doing a great job. I mean, the results are in most, like the vast majority, like when it comes to like high school year kids, the vast majority of gang activity, teenage pregnancies, runaways, terrible marks in school, incarceration, they're all from single parent households. And if you remove the father from the household, what do you think's going to happen, right? There's an interesting story that I heard one time about the almost extinction. I think it was a white rhinoceros in Africa. I might have butchered, the breed of rhino, but it was a rhino. And poachers were killing off male adult elephants for their ivory tusks. And
Mhm.
what ended up happening was the young male elephants were charging these rhinos just out of fun, just out of shits and giggles, because there was no adult males to reel them in and keep control of them. So they found when they started to reintroduce adult males and they got rid of the poaching, the white rhinos stopped dying off because the young adult males stopped charging and killing them. So you you need men and women in a good society. It's required. And the problem is that guys were considered the head of the household at one point, right? They were the leaders. They were the ones that were respected and looked upon. But today men are mocked. I mean, I grew up on a steady diet of sitcom. You probably saw shows like Home Improvement, Tim Taylor, The Cosby Show, stuff like that when you're growing up. And the fathers were really always portrayed to me as a bumbling idiots, right? And I think that's just one of the small elements that have contributed to the change and the decline of the West, right?
Mm. I think this is a good time to talk about roles. It's something I'm curious in my own life about. I've asked many people that, but like, what is a man and a woman's role in a relationship?
That's a great question because those roles, they try to overlap them now. One of the words that really grinds my gears is partner. I don't know about you, but whenever I hear somebody say, "Oh, my partner," okay, is it your husband? Are you lesbian? Is she a woman? Like, why are we using the word partner? Like, why aren't we using husband, my boyfriend, my man, my woman, my wife, my babe? Whatever it happens to be.
I mean, it'd be to share. It'd be that, for instance, say you're married, you have kids, or you're together, you have kids, whatever it is. And, the dad is like, I'm going to babysit. It's like, no, you're going to be a father. You're not going to babysit. Like they're
Right.
like, do you think that do I always have to wash dishes? Do you
Well,
always have to take the garbage out? You don't. I can do that. You can wash dishes. Like it doesn't, I think partner is implying
yeah.
that we're in this together and that we pick up the pieces when we need to. And it's not always going to be these roles for this person, these roles for that person. We're going to help each other. That's the point of being a partner.
Yeah, that's the ego investment that you have in that story. So let me sort of dive down that rabbit hole a little bit, because I think for the vast majority of history, a friend of mine calls them pink jobs and blue jobs, right? Like he does the blue jobs, wife does the pink jobs. He's cutting the grass, shoveling the snow, taking care of the car maintenance. She's running the kids to the doctor's appointments, preparing meals, stuff like that. So, and that's fine because, men have strengths and women have strengths.
Agreed.
And there's a reason why the vast majority of men are in fields like roofing, oil rigs, construction, engineering, all this sort of stuff. And women are more into nursing and childcare and teaching and stuff like that. And that's like one of the big complaints that feminism has about the world is, women are paid 70 or 80 cents on a dollar for every dollar that a man makes, sort of thing. It's like, no, if you're working 14 days straight on an oil rig, 12 hours a day, and you're working at a childcare center for 7 hours, just, feeding some kids and, herding some cats in the playground, he's probably going to make more money than you. So let's not go there. Right. So,
I mean, I got paid more than most men, so I don't subscribe to that argument.
Yeah. And there's certain fields where women do get paid more than most men. Like I know a guy that's
not usually race car driving.
Maybe you're right. I don't know much about what that is, but but I mean, you also had GoDaddy sponsorships. You had a lot of other opportunities to increase your income too, right? But there are certain fields where women do make more money than men in the exact same field. Like I have a friend that spent a few years in the porn industry, and the amount of money that women make as porn actors is significantly more than what men do, right?
So they want to watch because there's more people watching them. It's just
exactly. Demand. Yeah, there's more demand because that's what people are watching, not watching the dude.
I get it.
So as far as like the roles goes, back to your original question, I mean, for you, it's different though, Danica, because one of the things that I notice with you that other women do that you don't do is most women start sentences with, I feel like. And you'll notice this when you go back and you watch this video, but every time you start a sentence is, I think. And rational thought comes from, I think. So you're going to have a different perspective from the majority of women that want to be wives, that want to be stay at home and make babies and take care of a household sort of thing, because they're going to do the I feel like I feel like this and that sort of thing, the other thing. So you'll have a slightly different perspective, and there's going to be a ideology of partnership in some of your thinking because of your accomplishments, because you're successful too, right? So I get that that's where you're coming from, but for most of society, it's usually blue jobs and pink jobs, right?
Yep. That exists at home I mean, like when I'm with someone, that happens.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, no, great. Let me take that garbage. I'm going to get that. I'm like, okay.
There's a certain degree of ownership that you have to take in a relationship as a man. Like one of the things that I found myself doing over the years when I kind of dove down this rabbit hole and got into Evo Psych and the whole red pill stuff, it's like, if I'm walking down the street with my girl and she's on the outside close to the road where traffic's coming, I'll flip her around and put her on the inside and I'll stand on the outside to protect her. Right. So that's a man's role. I would not expect a woman to do that. Like that's not equal partnership. That is my job to protect you. Right. So, there's certain things where it's like, sure, you want to take out the garbage. It's fine. Right. But I'm not going to ask you to shovel the driveway or operate the snowblower, things like that. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.